to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Han Bajo.
And I'm Jedi Apprentice Hexo Katano.
And I am the deadly Sith Lord, Darth D.A.R.R.E.N. Now tell me, where are those secret plans?
Darren, we don't know what you're talking about, but it appears that your cooling fan is on overdrive there.
You are spies and members of the Spawning Alliance!
You can't intimidate us, Darth. Your new blazer will never succeed. Besides, we've got to review Disney Infinity 3.0, and if you haven't guessed, it's all about Star Wars.
I'll take it from here.
Campaign? Get after him! If we lose him in the sky lanes, that droid is as good as gone.
Plus, we'll save the galaxy again in mobile form with Star Wars Uprising.
All right, do-gooders, prepare yourselves to face the power of the dark side in a D.A.R.R.E.N's challenge. Today, I'm asking you this. In Kinect Star Wars, what monster can you control to go on a destructive rampage? Answer at the end of the show.
I'm sensing something.
Affirmative. It's a presence I've not felt
Since we had headlines at the news desk last week?
Affirmative. It's Goose Kenobi.
Ah.
Hello there, I'm Goose Kenobi, and this is the news you're looking for. The winner for the Australasian round of the 4th annual Serious Gamers Showcase have been announced. Team Fractal Alligator's Hacknet won its category as the best in the student and indie section, while MoneyStack's project D.A.R.R.E.N took out the top spot in the government and industry section. These two games and their developers will now be representing Australasia in the International Serious Game Showcase to be held in Orlando, Florida at the end of November. Good luck. We may have caught our first glimpse of Nintendo's upcoming NX console in a patent filing. The patent describes a home console that won't take discs, but instead will use memory cards containing programs, sort of like a cartridge. It also appears the console's controller will have its own display, much like the Wii U. We could also be seeing some more Nintendo characters at the movies in the years to come. Mario creator and longtime Nintendo developer Shigeru Miyamoto revealed the company is starting to think more about how films can fit in with their role as an entertainment company, and that they'll potentially be making them in the future. And that's all for this week. I feel a great disturbance in the Force, as if a million noobs cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I feel something terrible will happen. Let's go.
Hex, don't force choke me!
Oh, no, Bajo, my hand is just really cramped from all this Star Wars Uprising we've been playing on the office tablet.
Oh yeah, me too.
You should both get robot hands. Everyone in Star Wars gets them eventually.
Star Wars Uprising is an action role-playing game set just after the events of Return of the Jedi and just before the upcoming Star Wars film The Force Awakens.
Affirmative. Starting in the burn and con system, you take on odd jobs and bounties as you work your way up the ranks of various factions in the Anoat sector, leveling up and building allies.
And as you would expect from a Star Wars game, Uprising is extremely detailed, both in the design of the worlds and character gear, to the customizability, and the myriad of activities that your character can partake in.
There are more facets to this game than there are spin-offs in the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, I mean, there are crew runs, battles, assault missions, repeatable missions, story missions, gear finding, upgrades, training, XP, and reputation points. Whew, I mean, that's a lot to keep you busy.
Yeah, but despite all this, it's a very linear game. You're always pushed to do exactly what the game wants you to. The story was linked together by action sequences, which were quite fun. Running around shooting stormtroopers, aliens, and thugs, but they did become a bit repetitive. Same sequence, slightly different layout. And the side missions, assault missions, and battles were all exactly the same as the story missions, just without any dialogue at the beginning or end.
Well, that didn't bother me too much. However, it would have been nice to have a bit more diversity in your attack and defense capabilities.
A tech warning here. Battery power. Even with the Office tablet plugged into a wall, it was still losing charge. And don't think that I didn't notice that you could play as a male or female alien or human, but not as a droid. I expected better robo-representation from a Star Wars title.
Actually, Darren, I think you're right. What about a cool bounty hunter droid like IG-88? Personally, I chose to play as a smuggler who I named Garfield. She's an alien who hates the evil Empire almost as much as she hates Mondays.
Well, another good thing about the game is that it's accessible to gamers of all skill levels. Each mission gives you a choice of different difficulty levels depending on your character's ranking and how confident you feel about the upcoming mission.
Affirmative. The higher the difficulty, the higher the reward.
So what do you think, Hex? Will you continue to Uprise?
It's pretty good. It's got an interesting story and detailed characters, and I loved the crew runs. But Darren's right, it drains the battery like crazy. I'm giving this 2.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
We should point out the game does have in-app purchases, but you definitely don't need them to progress. The action sequences do get a little samey, but if you're a mega Star Wars fan, then there's a lot to keep you busy. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Enjoy it while you can. Because my new blazer will soon silence millions across the galaxy.
You've gone too far this time, Darth Darren. Hexoka, we need to do something.
All right, well, let's head to the Falcon and check for any incoming transmissions from the spawnlings that might help.
Wait until Emperor Kerry hears about this.
Okay, Han, Bajo, the Spawning Alliance need us. Are you ready to answer their questions?
I am Hexoka, although I am a little worried about what Darren is up to. I have a bad feeling about it.
It'll be fine. And let's start with this one from Jedi Master Kat Lee, who is in Adelaide, South Australia. Do you know if there's going to be any new Star Wars games coming out based off the new movie? Do you know when the new Star Wars Force Unleashed 3 is coming out? You guys rock. Hex to these. Thanks.
Well, Jedi Master, we haven't heard about there being any direct tie-in games with the new movie. There's going to be an Episode 7 playset for Disney Infinity though, but other than that, there's nothing that we know of.
And chances are there probably won't be any big AAA games based on the movies. Electronic Arts actually made a deal to get the exclusive rights to make what they call core Star Wars games for the next 10 years. And they've pretty much straight up said they won't be making any games that directly cover the same events as the movies.
No doubt there will still be games that relate to the new movies and explore other stories that tie into them, but I think they're more interested in making games that expand the universe, rather than retell the same stories in video game form.
Disney will still make their own games aimed at a more casual audience though, so things like mobile games and Disney Infinity, for example, could still be based directly on the films. And like we said, there's an Episode 7 playset that will obviously be based on the film.
And who knows, that might mean something like a new Lego Star Wars game based on the film. That could be possible too. I wouldn't be surprised to see that, Hex, although it is wishful thinking.
As for the Force Unleashed 3, well, most of the Force Unleashed games are mature rated, so we can't talk about them much. Although, the original DS version was PG.
I wouldn't hold your breath for any new Force Unleashed games, though. I'm pretty sure the series was completely cancelled after LucasArts was shut down.
Anything's possible, though, and maybe one day the series could be revived, but sorry to say it's not in development now as far as we know. But anyway, on to this one from Gary, who is in Whyalla, South Australia.
You showed us Space Simulator games a few months back, had awesome graphics, and you can build/upgrade your ship during time. You can also fly to the stars. What's the name of the game?
Well, Gary, I think Elite Dangerous might be the game you're thinking of. It certainly fits that description at least. Can we get that name up on the screen, please, Mr. Editor? There you go.
As of right now, you can get that on PC and Xbox One, and I believe it's coming to PS4 sometime in the future. Although, if that's not the one you were thinking of, then maybe it's Kerbal Space Program. You can only fly to other planets in that, and can't really fly to the stars, at least not without mods.
You can fly to the sun, though, and that is a star.
Yeah, that is true, but the spawning said stars, Hexoka, as in more than one star.
Well, fair point, I guess. But if you have a hankering for some good space dogfighting and don't mind some pretty retro graphics, then we'd highly recommend taking a look at the original X-Wing games, which also includes TIE Fighter, X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, and X-Wing Alliance.
Those are heaps retro games, Hex. X-Wing is over 20 years old.
Yeah, but they're amazing, and they still hold up surprisingly well. They're just so iconic. The ships, the sounds, they're absolutely worth going back to, Bajo.
Fair enough, they were definitely great games, but wouldn't you need a joystick to play them properly?
I'm pretty pretty sure they've been re-released with controller support, but a joystick is definitely the real way to play.
Joysticks are so 90s.
No PC was complete without a joystick back in the day, was it? But while we're looking back, we may as well look forward a bit too, because No Man's Sky is still on the horizon, and that's going to have loads of star exploring and ship upgrading that you'd no doubt be interested in. So that's also worth keeping an eye on.
Oh, that game just needs to come out already so we can see if it plays half as good as it looks.
Yeah, fingers crossed it does. But let's move on to this one now from Malad the Gaming King, who is in Kingsland in Queensland. What?
Kingsland in Queensland. So there would be a Queen of Kings.
Hello, good game. I have 2 questions. 1. In the new LEGO Dimensions game, will you have to build a portal? 2. How many noobs has Darren destroyed? Answer these or you will be destroyed. P.S. Bajo and Hex, you are awesome. P.P.S. Goose is a noob. Bye.
Well, my lad, from the trailer we've seen, it does seem like you'll have to build the portal yourself. But having said that, I don't know if you actually need the portal on the base for the game to work.
Yeah, an instruction manual for the Back to the Future set actually leaked, and it seems to suggest that you can just put figures on the base without needing the portal on there. So maybe it's just for decoration.
Yes, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see until the game comes out and we can actually review it. As for how many noobs Darren has destroyed, well, you know what, Hexoka, I do not know. I don't think I've ever witnessed Darren destroying a noob with my own eyes.
Well, that's all going to change, Han Bajo, if we don't stop him from firing his noob laser.
What?
I've got you now, you noob scum.
Darth Darren! Hexoka, I thought we were out of comms range!
Well, obviously hyperspeed didn't take us far enough.
Okay, we may dispense with the pleasantries, you two. Now, Han Bajo, Hexoka, join me. And together we can rule the galaxy as part of the Imperial forces.
I'll never join you! Actually, Darren, while we've got you, how many noobs have you actually destroyed?
Oh, loads, but just you wait. My noob laser will wipe entire systems clean. I shall destroy all the noobified planets. Oh, and Han Bajo, Kerry never told you the truth about your father.
He told me enough. He told me you lasered him!
Negative. I am your father.
No! That's not true! That's impossible! And actually, it's totally impossible because you're a robot.
Oh, did I say father? I meant destroyer. Charging my hologram laser.
Boring conversation anyway.
Okay, well, I think we have time for just one more question, and it's from the King of Dogs, who is in Wolfland, Victoria. Sharp shooting, Bajo.
Thanks. All hail the King of Dogs! My sister, the Queen of Cats, asked you something about the new 3DS a while ago. I was wondering if there are any games exclusive to the new 3DS. Also, is there going to be a copy of Xenoblade Chronicles on the sequel, Xenoblade Chronicles X? Please answer, or I will be a noob at that game. P.S. When was the last time Darren shot a laser? Could he start becoming a non-trigger happy robot? Woo! Bajo, do these. King of Dogs out. Woof. Well, your canine highness, the Xenoblade games are actually rated M, so we can't really show them here. But it's funny you should mention that series, since there is actually one game, and one game only, that's exclusive to the new 3DS. And it's the 3DS port of the original Xenoblade Chronicles.
And it's exclusive to the new 3DS, since the newer model does actually have a small increase in CPU power, which means it can create slightly better graphics and load games and menus faster, which I guess they needed for Xenoblade.
But so far, that is the one and only exclusive game, but there will probably be more. Although I think it's safe to say most developers won't make their games exclusive to the newer model. If they did, then only a small portion of 3DS owners would be able to buy them, which they would not want.
As for the other part of your question, no, the new game will not contain a copy of the old game.
And the last time Darren shot a laser was only a few weeks ago, actually. He lasered one of the complaints against him right out of my hands in Noobwatch.
And he's about to laser his way across an entire galaxy if we don't stop him soon. So that's all the time we have for this week. If you'd like to ask us something, then you can go here and send it in.
All right, Hexoka, let's fire up the hyperdrive and take this ship back to the studio.
The noob ray will be completed on schedule.
You have done well, my young apprentice.
Thank you, my master.
Darren, who are you talking to just now?
Oh, Emperor Kerry was just curious when the new braid will be complete. It won't be long now.
No, Bajo. The chances of us reviewing Disney Infinity 3.0 in time are like 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds, Hexoka. Let's just roll the montage.
Roll the montage, Emperor Kerry.
Okay. All aboard.
Disney Infinity 3.0 transports us to the familiar far, far away galaxy of Star Wars. There are, of course, loads of other modes in gameplay packs that you can get separately, but for now, let's talk about the default campaign, Twilight of the Republic. It's set during the same time period as the Clone Wars TV show.
Affirmative. The plot focuses on the masterful General Grievous and his brilliant plan to construct a new army of droids on Geonosis. With help from the other Dark Lords, he will surely crush the Republic. Impressive. Most impressive.
All right, well, settle down, Darth Darren. I think you should take some of your own advice and not underestimate the power of the Force, the light side. The game comes with two powerful Jedis, Anakin Skywalker and the coolest apprentice ever, Ahsoka Tano. Like previous Disney Infinity games, you just put either figure on the portal and they appear in the game.
We should talk about the combat first because you'll be spending a lot of time carving through droids with lightsabers. I preferred Anakin's fighting style, which is really aggressive. He can hit enemies with a lightsaber combo, then use the Force to pull them back in for more attacks. Plus, he can rip up rocks and hurl them at enemies. Amazing. I used to think the Force was nothing but a hokey religion, but playing as Anakin changed my mind.
Ah, yes, the Force is strong with young Skywalker. If only he could be turned, he would be a powerful ally.
Well, I think Ahsoka's nimble talents make her by far the better character. She uses the Force to keep enemies at a distance and can also throw her lightsabers like boomerangs. But her speed ensures she's also deadly at short range with her double lightsabers.
Whichever Jedi you're playing as, I was impressed at how sophisticated the combat is. The more difficult enemies block your attacks, requiring you to use specific block-breaking combos. Oh, plus you need to use the Force to ground flying enemies or shatter shields before attacking.
I have to agree with you, Darth Darren. They've absolutely nailed the lightsaber combat. And I think they've been very clever about balancing the depth of lengthy combos with easy-to-follow controls. For example, if a combo requires a pause between attacks, your lightsaber will glow when it's time to continue your combo. I just had so much fun with this. Lightsabers are the best.
Yes, they're definitely a more elegant weapon than clumsy blasters, although blasters can be fun too. You can also play through the story as blaster-wielding characters from the recent Star Wars Rebels show, which are available separately. My favourite was Kanan Jarrus, who can switch between lightsaber and blaster attacks.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Bah! Why would you want to play as pesky rebels when you could instead choose more powerful classic villains like Boba Fett and, of course, Darth Vader?
You're right about one thing, Darren. The classic characters are the best. Luke, Leia, Han and the gang will be getting their own gameplay campaign, which is loads of fun from the little bit we played.
Well, another great thing about the game is that you could just jump into a spaceship whenever you want and pick which planet you want to go to. Not only does it keep the game varied, but it also allows them to shoehorn in reimaginings of iconic Star Wars moments, like chasing a bounty hunter through the busy skies of Coruscant, or pod racing on Tatooine.
Nothing is going to stop them.
Yes, it really does cleverly mash up famous moments. Like this scene where I got to fight a bunch of Fetts in Jabba's throne room, and I chose to play as Yoda.
Bah, Yoda. He's as clumsy as he is stupid. My noob laser will destroy him and all the rest of the galaxy's noobs in mere minutes.
Oh, Bajo, we better hurry up. Well, the other big thing we've got to talk about in the game is the Toy Box mode. This is where you can make your own games by picking and choosing characters and props from a huge range of Disney worlds. Want to build a Gravity Falls theme park for Mulan to play through? Done.
My noob laser will soon be fully operational.
Moving along, the biggest new feature of the Toy Box is the ability to create paths. Things like vehicles and people to follow, so you can make more complex games. Plus, you can now feed your sidekicks to give them better stats in combat when they're fighting alongside you.
Yes, and soon they're going to be releasing a new mode called Toy Box Takeover, which will let you take any character from the 3 Disney Infinity games and verse them and a sidekick against the villain Syndrome across a range of worlds.
Well, we better wrap this up quickly, you guys, which is such a shame because there is so much to talk about with this game.
I know.
After last year's Avengers campaign, which was a bit disappointing, this is a real return to form. Although, just like any Disney Infinity game, it gets pretty expensive if you want everything, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, but thankfully you can pick and choose which campaign and characters you're most interested in. I do wish the graphics had been improved as much as the gameplay, but there's no denying the Force is very strong in this game. I'm giving it 4 rubber chickens.
I absolutely loved it. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Padawans, spawnlings, we're nearing the end of our adventure, which can mean only one thing.
Invasion.
No, Darren, the answer to your challenge.
Oh, affirmative. At the start of the show, I asked you this. In Kinect Star Wars, what monster can you control to go on a destructive rampage? And the answer is a Rancor.
A mighty and ferocious beast it is.
Next week on the show, an Aussie platforming legend is back. It's Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 4.
I sense a great disturbance in the Force.
It's not an oncoming data dump, is it, Darren?
Negative. It's someone I need to face for the last time. Darth Darren, out.
Han Bajo, this is our chance to destroy the Noob Laser once and for all.
To the Millennium Falcon! Han Bajo out!
Hexoka out.
Goose Kenobi. At last, the circle is complete. When we last met, I was but a learner, but now I am the master.
Only a master of irrelevant gaming facts, Darth. Darren, we said no lasers.
Oh, all right. Sabers only then.
Was fast, Bajo.
She's got it where it counts. Look, up ahead. Is that a disco ball?
That's no disco ball. It's a Noob Laser.
You can't win, Darren. If you strike me down, I shall become... Ah, Darren, that stings.
Oh, I'm sorry, Goose. I thought I had it on stun.
Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. This was all just an elaborate ploy to distract you. Any minute now, they'll be destroying your Noob Laser.
No!
We're almost in firing range.
We've only got one shot at this.
Almost there. Wait! Hexoka, you've turned off your targeting computer. What's wrong?
Nothing. I'm all right. It's a new day. A new beginning.
Hexoka, use the Force.
We did it! I guess we can head home and get a medal or something.
Yeah, actually, I heard there's a pretty awesome Ewok dance party going on. Let's go!
Punch it, Bajo!
You know, this ship made the castle run in less than 12 parsecs.